ज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। श्रीकृष्णचैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानन्द श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौरभक्तवृन्द। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Okay, so we discussed last week about the Lord's pastime in his youthfulness, getting married with Lakshmi Priya, and performing his pastime with his devotees in the mood of a scholar, inducing everyone to debate with him. So when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was performing his pastimes in this way, there was a very learned scholar who was from the province of Kashmir, came to Navdeep. His name was Keshav, and he was known as Digvijay Pandit because he was a great devotee of Mother Saraswati, and he had received the benediction from Mother Saraswati. Actually, because of his devotion to Mother Saraswati appeared in front of him in her most splendid darshan, and she gave him benedictions. That from that day on, whenever he would speak, Mother Saraswati would personally sit on his tongue and speak. So practically speaking, all the scriptures of the world were on his tongue. Because we should know that any kind of knowledge or wisdom in this world is actually coming down through Mother Saraswati. She is the in charge for all the learning. So every book of the world was there on the tip of the tongue of this Keshav Kashmir. And after receiving the mercy of Mother Saraswati in this way, he developed so much pride and started going around challenging all the great scholars in a debate. That's the nature of this world. Whenever a person attains something, any opulence, a person attains wealth, he wants to make a show of his wealth. A person attains learning, he wants to show how learned he or she is. So similarly, Digvijay Pandit, after getting mercy of Mother Saraswati, he, just to make a show of his learning, he went around debating with all the great scholars. He defeated so many hundreds and thousands of scholars all over them. In those days, Navdeep was known as the great, place for learning. In fact, the whole world, people would come from different parts of the world to Navdeep to gain education. So this news of Navdeep being the high seat of learning reached to the ears of Keshav Kashmir. So with the intention of debating with all the scholars of Navdeep, he came to Navdeep. So the news about his arrival spread all over Navdeep like wildfire. In every home, the scholars were actually uh, very much concerned and alarmed because they knew that the fame of Navdeep will fade away or will be greatly compromised if this scholar was to defeat all the learned pandits of this Navdeep. And yet, nobody could have courage to go and confront him because they had heard that Mother Saraswati personally speaks from his tongue. So all the learned scholars of Navdeep, they were in great fear. So this Digvijay, he came to Navdeep with so much opulence. He had horses, he had elephants, he had so many servants accompanying him, and he came on palanquin, riding on a palanquin. With great pomp because he had attained so much wealth by the dint of his learning. Because in those days, if a person was greatly learned, the kings would respect and honor that person by providing them a lot of wealth. So Keshav Kashmiri also had attained a lot of wealth and opulence by the mercy of Mother Saraswati. Actually, Mother Saraswati is uh, one of the energies of the Lord. She is actually expansion of Lakshmi Devi. In fact, she is not different from Lakshmi in one way. You know, the same Lakshmi which resides on the chest of the Lord. So, uh, this Digvijay Pandit, he had attained great opulence by the dint of Mother Saraswati. So, the students of Nimai Pandit, when they heard this, the arrival of this great learned Digvijay, they started discussing with Nimai Pandit. They expressed their concern that this Pandit, he is so learned and he's so arrogant. He goes everywhere defeating people and makes them sign a Vijay Patra. So when Nimai, he heard this, he told his students, one of the universal principle which is applicable for everyone. So Nimai Pandit told the students that the Supreme Lord, he does not tolerate one thing in any living entity, and that is arrogance or pride. History is evident. There was king of Haihaya. There was Nahusha, Pena, Bana, Hiranyakashipu, Ravana. So many demons who were actually puffed up by the achievements, by the power that they had attained. But we hear from history, none of them was tolerated by the Lord. Every single one of them was annihilated by the Lord. And soon all of you will see the annihilation of this great Pandit. Annihilation in the sense Lord Chaitanya was mentioning about the annihilation of his pride. Because in other incarnations, the Lord appears to kill the demons. But in the form of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he appears to kill the demonic tendencies. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu doesn't kill, he kills the tendencies, the demonic tendencies of living entities. So, by the will of the Lord, the Lord was one evening at the bank of river Ganga. He went and sprinkled some water from Ganga on his head and sat down by the bank of river Ganga along with his students. And the Lord was giving discourse on, different subject matters from the scriptures. And by arrangement, by the will of the Lord, this great Pandit, he happened to come that side. And he saw, the dawn was actually, it was actually dusk time. Evening was actually approaching. The day was turning into night, and it happened to be the full moon day. So the whole sky was lit up with moonlight. And Nimai was sitting on the bank of Ganga. Ganga was actually looking so beautiful in the moonshine. And the Pandit saw Nimai sitting along with his students. He was so much attracted by the beauty of the Lord. And although the Pandit had actually been practically fearless because he had defeated so many scholars, he was practically fearless. But as soon as he saw Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he developed reverence. He developed awe and reverence. So this is actually a very significant lesson. If a person, even though he's most powerful in this world, but if he approaches the Lord in the mood of confrontation, he will be naturally filled with awe and fear. So, Keshav Kashmiri, he asked one of the students, who is this beautiful looking, handsome man? And then the boy, actually, one of the students said that this is Nimai Pandit. And apparently, the Digvijay Pandit had heard about Nimai Pandit. When he came to Navadip, he had heard about Nimai Pandit. So when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw Nimai Pandit, Keshav Kashmiri, he actually invited him and gave him a seat. It's a respectable seat, and he still started speaking to the Pandit. And Digvijay Pandit, he actually told Nimai Pandit that I've heard about you, that you are the... He actually started speaking in a disrespectful way to Lord Chaitanya. Nimai Pandit, though he was greatly learned, and he was actually exhibiting the mood of a scholar, because he's Supreme Lord, but he was exhibiting the mood of a great scholar. He was always respectful. But this Pandit, he actually started speaking to Nimai Pandit in a disrespectful way. So I have heard about you that you are a teacher of a beginner's grammar. You teach your students Kalapa Vyakran. So he was just trying to minimize in a way the position that he was such a great learned scholar. He knew all the scriptures of the word, and Nimai was just a teacher of grammar, Kalapa Vyakran grammar. And Nimai, in a very humble way, he actually told, I'm just an insignificant teacher of Sanskrit grammar. And the very fact that though I teach the Sanskrit grammar, but I cannot really teach very well. My students have difficulty even understanding the subject matter. How are you? You are such a great learned Pandit. We have heard that you have received the mercy and blessings of Mother Saraswati. So we will be very fortunate if you allow us to hear from you. If you speak something in glorification of Mother Ganga, we will be very happy to hear that. And when Digvijay heard this, Nimai Pandit glorifying him, he became even more puffed up. And just to make a show of his, learning, he actually started compiling. He actually started compiling the verses in glorification of Mother Ganga. He was right then and there compiling the verses. It's not that he had compiled before and he was just reciting. He was compiling there and speaking without even stopping or pausing for a moment. In fact, he started speaking with the speed of raging wind. Even if we know some Sanskrit verses, which we might have remembered, we have to think. But this Pandit, he was speaking with such a speed, like a raging wind. And he went on for 1 hour. He composed 100 verses in 1 hour. And all the students of Nimai, they were completely shocked. They were looking at the Pandit with their open mouths. How somebody could be so learned? Oh Lord Rama, how can somebody be so learned? And when Nimai, when the Digvijay Pandit he stopped, Lord Chaitanya actually glorified. My dear sir, you are so learned and expert. You spoke this glorification of Mother Ganga. In fact, you spoke so eloquently that most of the people can't even understand what you spoke. In fact, it's only you and Mother Saraswati, your worshipful goddess. Only you two can understand. But we can understand if you kindly explain to us. So I wish that you explain one of the verses from what you have composed. So Digvijay, because he spoke with such a raging wind speed, he never expected that anyone would have remembered anything what he spoke. So when he said in this way that, okay, which verse you would like to understand? Nimai actually recited one verse, which Keshav Kashmiri did not expect. So when Nimai, with precision, recited the words, Digvijay Pandit actually became amazed. And he said, how is it possible for anyone to remember these words? Because I spoke with speed of raging wind. How could you even remember these words? And Nimai, he said, by the mercy of the Lord, by the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, somebody can be a learned scholar like you. And by the mercy of the same Supreme Lord, somebody can be Shrutidhar. Shrutidhar means one who can hear once and immediately remember everything. So Digvijay Pandit was very much satisfied by this answer. And he told him, yes, the verse that you have recited is actually appropriate. So the verse was like this, This was actually glorification of Mother Ganga. It says, Mahatvam Gangayam Satatam Idam Abhati Nitaram. Yad Esha Shri Vishnu's Charana Kamalotpatti Subhaga. Dutiya Shri Lakshmi Ivasura Nare Archaya Charana. Bhavani Bharto Vya Shirasi Vibhavati Adbhuta Guna. So the translation of this verse is Mahatmam Gangayam, the glories of Mother Ganga, the greatness of Mother Ganga always brilliantly exist. She is most fortunate because she emanated from the lotus feet of Shri Vishnu, the personality of Godhead. She is second goddess of fortune, and therefore she is always worshipped by the demigods and by humanity. Endowed with all wonderful quality, she flourishes on the head of Lord Shiva. So Keshav Kashmiri, he actually explained the meaning. And Nimai, he requested him My dear sir, now you explained the verse. Now we would like you to please analyze this verse and tell us the ornaments, I mean, ornaments means the beauty about this verse, and also the faults of this verse. And Digvijay was shocked. He said, there is no fault in my composition. I have never spoken anything with fault. And Nimai, he said, my dear sir, because I'm not so learned. In fact, I'm not even fit to be one of your students. Therefore, I'm asking you, please tell us the ornaments and the faults in this composition. And the Pandit again said, there are no faults in my composition. And how can you even analyze this verse? You have no knowledge about the composition. You have no knowledge about how to compile a composition. Since you don't have the knowledge of the subject matter, how can you even review it? And Nimai Pandit said, well, that's true that I'm just a I'm just a teacher of Sanskrit grammar. I have never, studied the subject matters, but I have heard from the higher circles, and therefore I can review your words. So Digvijay said, all right. So let me hear what ornaments and faults you have found in my composition. And my Pandit, he began to speak. He told Keshav Kashmiri that, my dear sir, there are 5 faults and 5 embellishments or ornaments in your composition. Let me explain you. And he actually explained, because most of us, we are not, learned in Sanskrit grammar that much, but something that we can actually appreciate. So Lord Chaitanya actually told Keshav Kashmiri that there are 5 faults in this composition. He said there are 2 times something called avimrishta vidayamsha. So what avimrishta vidayamsha means? Placing an unknown subject before the known. So especially in poetry, especially in Sanskrit poetry, it's a rule that first you have to introduce the subject and then place the unknown. Unknown cannot be before the known subject. So first the known subject has to be introduced, then only unknown can come. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu pointed out, that this great scholar, had actually placed unknown subject twice before the known. Like, the word Dutiya Lakshmi. So Dutiya, second. Second what? Second Lakshmi. So Lakshmi is the known subject that is kept behind, but Dutiya is kept before. So therefore the meaning of the whole verse becomes doubtful. And another fault that Lord Chaitanya indicated, which all of us we can actually appreciate and understand as well, is called Viruddha Matikrit. Viruddha means opposite, and Matikrit means communicating the meaning. So giving some contradictory meaning. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explained to this Pandit that you have used the word Bhavani Bhartur. So the word Bhava means Lord Shiva, and Bhavani means the wife of Lord Shiva, and Bhartu means husband. So Bhavani Bhartu means the husband of the wife of Lord Shiva. because Bhava is Lord Shiva and Bhavani means the wife of Lord Shiva. And so Bhartu means the husband of the wife of Lord Shiva. So this, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu indicated, looks like from your words that you are trying to say that the wife of Lord Shiva has two husbands. Like if you say, please place this charity in the hands of the husband of the wife of Brahmana. So it looks like, the wife of Brahmana has two husbands. So in this way, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu pointed out the 5 faults in the composition. And then, of course, he also explained the 5, embellishments, or literary ornaments. And when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in this way analyzed the words, the Pandit wanted to actually argue, he wanted to speak. But in the presence of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, his intelligence was completely blocked. He couldn't speak a word. He tried to argue, but none of the words were coming out from his mouth. And then Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, okay, all right, forget about, giving clarification on this. Please speak or compose one more verse. And the Digvijay, he tried, but he fumbled and he couldn't even speak a word. Nothing could come from his mouth. In fact, his whole intelligence was completely blocked. He went blank. And seeing this, the students of Nimai, they started laughing. But Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he knew that this Digvijay Pandit was so learned and he attained so much fame. If he's disrespected, he will surely die. He will not be able to maintain his life. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he restrained his students from laughing. And then he told Keshav Kashmiri that actually, looks like you must be tired. So you can go home, study some more books. And tomorrow we will again hear more discourses from you. And moreover, you should not feel morose because even in the composition of Bhavabhuti, Jayadev, Kalidas, you'll find some faults in their compositions. One should not take those faults very seriously. And one should see how, such scholars have used their poetic skills to compose. So in this way, he was actually, though he completely annihilated, defeated this Digvijay, but he also wanted to encourage him. So Keshav Kashmiri, he started thinking, why is it that Mother Saraswati, who never ever defeated me, has defeated me through this mere boy? He's just a teacher of Sanskrit grammar and he has blocked my intelligence. Looks like Mother Saraswati must be unhappy. I must have offended Mother Saraswati, therefore she has abandoned me. She has defeated me through this mere boy. In order to just confirm, he spoke to Nimai. He said, my dear Pandit, I know that you don't have any experience in composing or reviewing the poetry. How is it that you have reviewed these words so well? And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu could understand the mind of Keshav Kashmiri. Because, the people who are theistic, they understand that if somebody speaks some words from the mouth, Mother Saraswati is actually speaking through them. So Pandit wanted to know, how is it that this boy has defeated me? So my Pandit, understanding the heart of the Keshav Kashmiri, he said, well, my dear sir, I'm not really learned at all. In fact, I'm not fit to be one of your students as well. But yet, whatever I spoken must be understood to be spoken by Mother Saraswati. And Keshav Kashmiri understood, okay, This is the indication that Mother Saraswati had actually spoken through the mouth of this person, and she has defeated me. So he was very much surprised. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left along with his students, and the Keshav Kashmiri was actually sitting there very much ashamed, morose. He went home, he started chanting the mantras to please Mother Saraswati, and then he fell asleep. In the dream, Mother Saraswati gave him the splendid darshan, and she told Keshav Kashmiri that, my dear son, you have received so much wealth and entitlement by the dint of my mercy. But let me tell you, that is not my real mercy. My real mercy is I am so much obliged to you for your devotion that today I have brought you face to face to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The person whom you think a mere boy is actually none other than the Lord and Master of all of creations. He is my Lord and Master. In fact, uh, Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, even Ananta Shesha, they all worship his lotus feet. The compiler of all the Vedas, Vedavyas, the reciter of all the Vedas, Ananta Shesha, who constantly recites the glories of the Lord in the form of Vedic hymns, even they are bewildered in his presence. What to speak of me? I'm just an insignificant maid servant of the Supreme Lord. So you're so fortunate that you have been defeated by him. Don't think that this is a dream or hallucination. You should immediately go and take shelter at the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord, who has defeated you. So Keshav Kashmiri, as soon as he got up from the dream, all his moroseness and lamentation was completely gone, because he understood that he has been defeated by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Immediately he left for the home of Nimai Pandit. He went to the house of Nimai and he fell at the feet of Nimai Pandit. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, my dear Pandit, you are such a learned person. Why you are behaving like this? Why you're falling at my feet? And Keshav Kashmiri said, my dear Lord, I have understood. I've been given the wisdom by Mother Saraswati. She revealed to me that you are actually the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Please be merciful to me. Bless me that I should rise above the designs. I have been so arrogant and puffed up for my learning. Please bless me that I may develop devotion at your lotus feet. And Nimai Pandit actually, picked him up and he said, listen, my dear Pandit, the purpose of human existence is not to simply attain the material facilities. In fact, whatever learning you have, if the learning does not culminate in devotion to the Supreme Lord, that learning is simply useless waste of time. So give up your eagerness to defeat other scholars and worship the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. That will bring the real satisfaction and happiness in your life. And that's true. Actually, by having victory all over the world, by having big degrees or learnings, by having tremendous amount of wealth, by having beautiful wife or handsome husband, and having beautiful children, all these things cannot satisfy the soul, because soul by nature is part of Krishna, and it can be only satisfied by devotional service unto the Supreme Lord. So Keshav Kashmiri, he was instructed by the Lord. So He gave up all his wealth and his learning. Actually, in fact, he gave away all his wealth and he took the renounced order of life. In fact, Vrindavan Thakur says it's not really very amazing or surprising that Keshav Kashmiri gave up his wealth and learning and everything and he became a mendicant, because that's the nature of the attributes of the Supreme Lord. And as we read from Bhagavatam also, Atma Ramascha Munayo Nirgranthapi Kurvantya Hetukim Bhaktim Viddham Bhuta Guno Hari. The Supreme Lord has such wonderful qualities that even Atma Rama, even the most satisfied persons, take to the worship of the Supreme Lord. Even Rupa Goswami, though he was, almost like a king, he gave up his kingly position. Rupa and Sanatana Goswami, they gave up their wealth, their position, simply to accept the loincloth and live very humble life. Lotus feet of Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
ऐसा कुछ वो पब्लिक स्कूल नहीं है ना, प्राइवेट स्कूल है, प्ले स्कूल। कौंड्रेसा पब्लिक स्कूल है इसका। कौंड्रेसा है वो प्ले स्कूल है, लेकिन वो फीस भरना पड़ता है।
हरे कृष्ण।
हाँ, मतलब वो कभी भी ले सकते हैं, ऐसा नहीं कि आप हाँ कौंड्रेसा में कभी भी ले सकते हैं। प्री स्कूल, प्ले स्कूल का कभी डेट नहीं होता। अभी इसका स्कूल हो गया, प्री के हो गया, तो अभी वो उसका
माता जी
तो वो यहाँ पे ट्रांसफर कर दिया उन्होंने, तो अब अगस्त से उसका स्कूल है।
विजय प्रभु म्यूट है।
मैंने आपको भेजा था ना उसका, वो आएंगे अभी, वो इंटरनेशनल हो गया ना, तो वो आ जाएगी। इंडिया में है वो, इसलिए उनका लेट होता है। इंटरनेशनल शुरू हो गया, इंटरनेशनल नहीं हुआ है, डायरेक्ट
माता जी, could you mute yourself?
हैदराबाद से यहाँ फ्लाइट।
माता जी, could you mute yourself? It's okay. Sorry. I'm sorry.
Walking out and hearing. Sorry, Prabhuji.
In this way, Keshav Kashmiri actually, became a mendicant, and for the rest of his life, he actually, worshipped the lotus feet of Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And of course, as we discussed last week, Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he would set a perfect example as a householder. He would invite the sannyasis to his home. One time he invited 20 sannyasis and fed them. And people were actually amazed. Who are these 20 sannyasis? They were actually thinking they cannot be ordinary people. They must be the great sages who have opportunity to go to the home of Nimai Pandit to be his guest. Actually, it's already 7 o'clock. I don't think we'll be able to finish everything. So maybe from visit to East Bengal, we will discuss next week. So we can stop here. If anyone has any questions, you can ask.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. So, the Digvijay Singh and Kashmiri Pandit both are same, no? Or why they're...
Yes, Digvijay Pandit is nothing but the name, another name for Keshav Kashmiri.
Keshav Kashmiri, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so if no more questions, then we can probably stop here. Thank you very much, everyone. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.
For the class, Prabhuji, and sorry for the disturbance, Prabhuji.